See? All right, T. Assalamu alaikum. Peace. It's your Coach Nyla. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm trying to make sure all of the audio is proper. So, welcome to the Desirable Wife webinar, where I am going to, in today's webinar, I am going to pretty much teach you how to not be undesirable to your husband, okay? Not utilize your things that are going on in your life, the stresses, the insecurities, the trauma, the different things that we can take on as women, as wives, and throw that all into our marriage and allow us to be undesirable or not as desirable to our husbands. And even though I am a wife in polygyny, my husband, Coach Nazir, I was married to my co-wife, Coach Fatimah, and they've been married. I'm in what we would call an incoming wife or second wife or additional wife is what I usually say. That it doesn't matter whether you're an additional wife, an initial wife, or a potential wife, or even just an only wife. When it comes to our marriages, we want to be desirable, right? We want our husbands to desire us. Yes, of course, we want to desire our husbands and things like that. However, I've heard all around the board how that can totally be an issue over time. Sometimes we become too familiar. Sometimes, our husbands can get a little familiar. Sometimes there are different things in life that allows us to change. Only thing, the main thing, or one of the main things that's constant is change. So when it all comes down to it, you will start to, you'll start to change, of course. Not only will you start to change, things start changing, and you have these ups and downs and all of that other good stuff or not so good stuff, and it can affect and infect our marriage. So in this webinar, I'm going to give you 3 secrets on how to not allow that to creep into your marriage, not allow the familiarity of being married or the ups and downs of life to infect your marriage, even in polygyny. And I'm going to go into polygyny a little bit more because I've heard a number of wives, we have had that come in our inboxes a lot, where you have wives that will feel as though that they don't know if their husband desires them, whether they're an initial wife where they say, well, I'm not sure that he desires me anymore because he married again. Or you can go into any additional wives and say, well, I don't know how he really desires me because he already has a wife that he loves. He already, has this life that he built before I even came along. So we're going to get into that. Okay, so this is the thing, removing the undesirable habits that can cause disconnect and replace them. Okay, I talked about that. I talked about the trauma, different drama, different things in life that can change and replace them. We want to be the wife that our husband absolutely adore. Okay, if you guys know where that's from, put it in the comments. I could be aging myself, but if you guys don't know, I'm going to give you a little hint. It's a movie called It Takes Two. Now, again, I said I could be aging myself. So, how did I do it? Let me give you a little insight on just a little background, so to speak. My goodness. So, entering into polygyny, it wasn't always sunshine and rainbows and kittens and unicorns. I say that a lot when it comes to life in general, but definitely in polygyny. I would not pretend like polygyny was just the bee's knees, so to speak. However, it's a form of marriage, that I decided that was for me in my time of life at that time, and is still to this day. The thing is, though, it wasn't as peaches and cream as I thought it should be or that I wanted to be to start off with. And my lack of communication, my lack of confidence, my lack of understanding for the most part caused a lot of discord and drama in how I saw my marriage moving along. So it was a lot of that, a lot of questions that I had, pretty much like, why am I here? Where do I fit in? How can, a man love more than one woman? And I know we have people, and I've been there where I stated that, I understood what polygyny entails. I read a book called, I want to say called Polygamy in Islam. Read the book. It made so much sense to me. Polygamy, polygyny, which is one man married to multiple women, made sense to me. However, the concept, after being conditioned into that, into a lifestyle or to a mindset that if a man is into another woman or that he loves someone else, that he really doesn't truly love you, or we have these things in our head that, okay, it has to be a favorite, it has to be a favorite, he has to have a favorite one, and we want to be this favorite one for the most part. I'm going to go into a little bit more in this webinar where that focus could be one of the main things that is actually causing the undesirability in your marriage. So, and that was a thing too, not where I just felt that I wanted to be the favorite, I needed to be the favorite. It was that, how can you possibly say you love someone else or be with someone else and also love this other person too? Not just with my husband, but with anybody who was like that. However, I would listen to different types of songs when I was growing up. And a lot of the times it talked about men desiring more than one woman. The people who were in my life that were very influential, that were my protectors, my providers and things as far as that, it's like my uncle or my uncles, my cousins, my male cousins. And they were of that mindset too. So one of my main things was to try to understand more about why men think the way they do, or why is that a thing, or is that a thing? Is that a thing where they can't actually desire and love and be, quote unquote, this, I'm gonna use this word kind of tongue in cheek, faithful to multiple women. And I'm saying it tongue in cheek type of thing because when people think of the word faithful, they're like, okay, it's me and only me. There's no one else, me and only me. However, being able to protect and provide for and show care and concern for multiple women, for this woman and that woman, still shows that he's faithful to these women. He's faithful in in what he's doing as a man. He's faithful in raising that standard of manhood, because he's not playing games. He's not going around doing these other things. So what I'm going to get into is those different mindsets, or being able to understand certain things that can allow us to be more desirable, because one of the things in being desirable is being able to understand our spouses, being able to understand our husband, seeking first to understand and be understood. All right. So how did I do it though? Let's go into, I didn't get into all the how I did it. One of my main things was personal development, personal development, personal development, personal development. In addition to my studying Islam, my being strong on that, that's been a big deal for me. So I know everybody who watches us, we don't have all Muslims who watch us, and that's fine. The thing is that we have people from all walks of life that get information from us, that learn from us. And that's great, because this information works for everybody. Personal development, having your spirituality intact, that works for everybody. So being able to know where to go when you're stressed out, knowing where to go when you're confused, when you're feeling down, when your confidence is low, that's important. And knowing that it's a power that's higher than you helps that a lot. So being able to understand that and dig deep into my spirituality, not only dig deep into my spirituality, but being able to read the books, learn from the mentors, apply the knowledge that I've gotten, and understand myself more, understand what triggers me, what bothers me, what things can make me sad, and is it a reason for this? Like, is it just because I was conditioned a certain way, or is this what it really is? And being able to communicate more and learning how to do that. And we'll get into that. So yeah, how did I do it? A lot of work. It's okay. Only time success comes before work is in the dictionary. So understand that in order to have success, you're going to have to do the work. And the best way to have the success is to work on you, because you can control what you can do. You can't control what other people can do. However, as long as we work on ourselves, we're going to attract the people that we need in our lives and that's supposed to be in our lives. And we're going to repel the people who are not supposed to be in our lives, right? So being able to do that is important. So let's get into secret number 1. Why increasing self-confidence improves communication and allows better connection with your husband. So it's what you think about yourself. So that's one of the things that I did was increase my self-confidence, because I was the one that they called me a perfectionist, so to speak. They said, everything. My mom even said it when I was younger. She said, when it came to tying my shoes, I would tie it over and over again sometimes, talk about how it wasn't right. And it was certain things that I needed to learn or that I wanted to learn. And if it wasn't exactly how I wanted it to be, it bothered me. It affected me in a heavy way. And if others felt a certain way about me, it started to chip away at my self-confidence. Now, my auntie, who passed away some months ago, she would tell me, she said, you can't please everybody. You have to be happy with you. You have to work on you. And I've heard it over and over and over again. And I know that that was a thing and that should be the case, but it was difficult. It was difficult to say, well, I'm all that, I'm good. I could do these things and really celebrate myself, because I was also conditioned that if you do those things, you're arrogant, you're conceited, you think you're all that type of thing. And because I wanted to be liked, I didn't feel like that was how I would be liked, by talking about how great I was and how amazing I was. The interesting thing, though, as I told you guys before, that my faith and me studying my deen, my Islam, it really changed that mindset for me. Because I'm like, I am great. I am awesome. I am amazing. Why? Because my creator created me that way. And if I do anything less, if I show up any less than that, then I'm not doing justice. I'm not doing myself justice. And I'm wasting away. I'm wasting away, and I'm not doing what I'm put here to do. I do believe that Allah or God, people would say, did not make a mistake on bringing me here, on creating me and things as far as that. And I was created with greatness. So if that's the case, then I should operate that way, and I should celebrate the things that I know. And it's not about me, it's about my creator. So when I was able to take it off of me, because it wasn't about me, I felt like I could celebrate me. I could celebrate the beauty, the greatness, those things. If you guys agree with that, definitely put that in the comments. Put I agree in the comments. If you agree that celebrating you does not does not mean that you are some arrogant, conceited prick. And that it also doesn't take away from the other people. Put I agree in the comments. I had to realize that. I realized that thinking highly of myself did not take away from anyone. Thinking highly of myself and my marriage did not take away from my co-wife and her marriage. We are monogamously married to the same man. He practices polygyny. But see, when we mind our own marriage, we are able to build our marriage. We're able to build our own individual traditions and our individual memories that create that connection. And that's what I talked about before. It improves the communication and allows better connection with our husband. Because when we have that self-confidence, we can say the things that we feel, and we can say it in a way that is being received. And I'm not saying come harshly. When we're able to increase our self-confidence, we as women know how to embrace our femininity when we are confident within ourselves, in our femininity. Because now we don't feel like we have to compete with our husbands. We don't have to compete with our co-wives. If we are in polygyny and we have co-wives, we don't have to do that. This is what I say. You should be competing with you. You should be competing with you. The person who you were yesterday, that's who you should be. That's who you should be competing with. Getting better every single day. Every single day. So once you're able to be confident in the way you speak, in the way you receive information, and the way you put information out there, then it's easier to communicate properly. It's easy to have courageous communication. I'm not going to say that is easy, like it's just it's always good. It's always a great, like it always feels good, I would say. And I'm going to tell you why I say that. Because sometimes the courageous communication can possibly make someone else feel a certain way. And I got to be mindful of the words that I use, because we can't really make a person feel a certain way. They can choose to feel the way that they feel because of how they receive the information. But we do have to understand that what we say and how we say it can come across a particular way. And people have feelings, and those things can hurt. Words can hurt. I don't know where people got that sticks and stones may break my bones, but what names would never hurt me or words would never hurt me. I don't know who said that or who thought that was real. Because in my life, there were a number of times when the words hurt. And the words stuck longer than any type of bruise that a stick and stone would have put on my body. I'm just saying. I don't know. You guys let me know if you agree with that. So when you are able to communicate properly, you'll have a better communication, even if you disagree. Even if you disagree. Why is that, Coach Nyla? How is that possible? It's possible because when you have a person that can be authentic, and you can be authentic, that respect level is high. You know they're not hiding anything from you. You can feel safe with knowing that they are that they're going to tell you the real. And not only that they'll tell you the real, but they are very intentional and aware. And as you as well, this is what it's about. It's about us. However, we want to make sure that we are attracting these people into our lives as well. So when you are able to be authentic, you will attract authentic people. And when it all comes down to it, that connection becomes stronger because you know that you can count on this person. I'm going to tell you something. I have a friend who she knows that she can come to me when she wants the truth. Now, if she wants anything else, she know that she would even bring it to me. And sometimes she may, just to see what I'm going to say, but she knows that I'm like, okay, do you want to hear the truth, or do you want to hear, hear what you want to hear? But she knows I'm going to tell her the truth. She know, even if it's against her, even if it's something that she did wrong, I'm going to let her know that. It's not this quote unquote girl code that they say, or the sister code, or whatever it's called, where it's like you just ride with me even when I'm wrong. I don't think those are true friends. I don't think that those are true people who really care about you and love you in your life. So being able to have that support system that are truly going to support you, meaning that they're going to call you out when you're wrong because they want to see you win and they want to see you do better. Those are the type of people that you can connect with. So being able to communicate the things that may cause some issues in your marriage with your husband, being able to communicate how you are feeling at a particular moment that could cause issues within your marriage, instead of holding them in and hoarding them and allowing them to fester, causes a deeper connection. Think about it. How do you feel if you've done this? How do you feel if you've done this, where you harbored feelings instead of letting it be known how you felt or getting clarity on a situation? How did you feel towards your husband when you harbored these feelings? Did you feel a stronger connection, or did you want him not to be around you, or you didn't want to be around him? And it could have been just a misunderstanding, but because of that lack of communication, it allowed for a disconnect instead of a stronger connection. So the more you communicate, or the better you communicate, the better your connection. And the better your connection comes from, or the better your communication comes from, your increased self-confidence. Being able to find out, how do I communicate properly? How do I embrace the things, the differences that I have? The differences that I have between myself and my husband, the differences that I may have if I'm in polygyny between myself and my co-wife. How do I embrace my individuality, my identity? Not trying to be like her. Not thinking that he married me as an additional wife to replace his initial wife, or to be like his initial wife. That's minding your marriage, that's minding yourself, and minding your business. So you learn how to embrace yourself, embrace your greatness, embrace your individuality, and improve on those things. And same thing goes for, an initial wife, where that you embrace this beauty that you have, because he did marry you and he didn't divorce you. That you have greatness inside you, you have this individuality, you have these things that you built. Don't destroy that by comparing yourself to someone else, or wondering why he chose to marry someone else. And I know that can sound easy to do, but when we are focusing on increasing our self-confidence, when we're working on improving our communication, when we're saying, okay, what is it about me that's so great? Not just to him, but to you. What is that? Tap back into that, because sometimes, again, as I stated earlier, we can get so familiar that we stop doing the things that we were doing before that kept the marriage nice and alive and, happy and fun and all those other things. And things have happened through life, whether it's children being born and growing up and job changes and deaths and different things like that. Life can be lifing. I get it. But that's why we need to be intentional. Okay. So that's secret number one. Secret number two, why you don't need to only be the new wife or the established wife to connect and be desired by your husband. See, you have this thing where you have the new wife, I don't know, new wife, and then you have the established wife. She got arms. So, established wife. And these thoughts happen where it's like, okay, new, shiny. So now we have the new thing. So it's a clean slate. You know, you have the clean slate. So now we have to build on some things. However, some people think, oh, well, he's happy because it's his new thing here. He desires her because there's no quote unquote baggage, so to speak. And that's definitely a myth. That's definitely a myth. Unless you have someone that married and they're a virgin and had no relationships before or anything like that. And I can still say it could be some baggage too from how they were raised. So I'm not going to say that there was no baggage, right? So, but it's like, okay, we can build something new. So they think that that's the case. So, oh, this is why she's desired. Or she's desired because she's going to do whatever she needs to do to make sure that she belongs. Then you have the established wife. It's like, okay, well, she's desired because she has a history. The history is there. So they have history. I know I'm writing kind of crazy. The history. So it's like, well, where do I fit in? And it could be children there, and it could be traditions that's built, all these other things. So do you see how the self-confidence can decrease because of the comparison? And when that happens, it can be so stressful for everyone involved. It can be stressful for the husband because he's like, I don't know what to do with this. I don't know what to do when I'm showing you that I desire you. I show you that I care, but you keep throwing in these other things that I have no control over. I have no control over that you're new and we don't have anything established yet, but we need to build, but it's hard to build because we keep arguing about you being new. We don't have anything. You're comparing yourself. And then we have this history, and this is all fine and dandy, but then you over here feel that I just got some new thing and I can't continue to build with you. And I can't show you that I desire you because you're afraid that because I got a new thing, I don't desire you anymore. And then after a while, they might check out. They might check out. Husbands have a lot of other things that's going on in their lives. So to not be able to come home to peace because we have these ideas in our heads that, okay, either I'm the new shiny thing, so he's going to love me more, but now he's not, it don't seem like he's loving me more, or it doesn't seem like he's showing me the attention that I think he should show me. Now I'm starting to feel away because I don't have this history. So now I have an issue, and now I have an issue with him, and now we have an issue because we can't communicate properly. And now our connection is severed. And then it goes the other way around. So when it all comes down to it, it's not about being new or established. It's not about that. You know what it's about? It's about It's about connecting in your own personal, private way. It's about connecting in your own private way. It's about building your own connections and memories together. Do you think that, I mean, how crazy would this look? I call my co-wife, Coach Fatimah. What are you doing with Coach Nazir tonight? And of course, you know, we don't say coaches when we're talking. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. Okay, cool. I'm gonna do that too. All right, see you. Assalamu alaikum. We have to have our own individual things, right? our own individual way that we are building things. They have their own way. They have their own memories and connection and things that they're still building on. And we have ours. We are all multifaceted. Men are multifaceted. They're not as simple as women want to make them out to be. So yes, they can have different experiences with their wives and enjoy all of them just as much as we can. We operate differently. That's fine. That's fine. I'll say it over and over again. I would not want to be married to multiple men. And if I was a man, well, I don't know, because I'm not a man. But my thing is, when I see what men have to go through with one wife and then another wife and juggling the different energies and emotions and the hormones and different things like that. And I'm not saying that we are just, crazy and psycho or anything like that. I'm just saying that we can be a lot of work. And I understand that as a woman, that's a privilege that I am okay with. But because I know that, I increase my self-confidence and I increase my desirability by saying, you know what, I know that I'm going through, and I went into that with communication too. And I think that might be secret number 3. I might, yeah. I had to check to make sure. But that's secret number 3 when I'm going to get into the being a wreck, emotional wreck. But when it all comes down to it, you don't need to be the new shiny thing, and you don't need to be the established, one who made history by creating the family, or being first to do these things. Because your marriages are separate. Your marriages are different. When you focus more on minding your marriage, and I know we had questions before that stated, well, how do I mind my marriage because there's still someone else there? Or how do I mind my marriage because these thoughts go into my head? It's stating or it's finding out what you enjoy about being with your husband, and when he's with you, do those things. Set up that time. Build those memories, build those bonds. Am I going to tell you that there's never going to be a time that you think about him and your co-wife together, or that, what he's doing over there? No, I'm not going to tell you that, because I'll be lying to you. And I'm not going to do that. However, it's not about not thinking about it or never thinking about it. It's what do you do? What do you replace? Talked about that earlier, right? Replacing those detrimental things that causes disconnect. And what can be detrimental to your marriage is not minding your marriage. It's going and bringing someone else and bringing someone else's experiences and different things like that you don't even know. A lot of these things could be just speculation, and bringing that into your marriage, because now you're so focused on bringing someone else's life into it that you can't focus on your own. There's no room for it. So make sure you keep room for your memories, your connection, your bonds, and work on that. How do you do it? Well, you focus on that. You write out the things. You talk about it. You talk about the things that you like to do together. Everyone is not the same, and everyone doesn't want the same things. I talked about this in the book, and Let's Talk Polygamy Uncensored. I talked about jealousy. And one of the things I mentioned about was going to the same places that my co-wife went to, or that Coach Nazir and Coach Fatimah probably went to, or different things like that, or a movie that they see, it's the same movie, we like similar things, it's only, what are you going to do? But when it comes down to it, I used to have this thought in my head, and I'm like, okay, am I just being taken to these things just because it's something to do, so I'm not left out. So it's like, okay, well, let me make sure this wife actually gets something. You know what that did? It caused a lot of issues within myself, because it caused self-esteem issues. Like, I'm just the second fiddle, the I don't want to say replacement wife. That's not what I called it. I said the leftover wife. and things as far as that. But you know what else it did? It caused issues, whether I tried to or not, whether it was intentional or not, with how I saw my husband. Like, how fair is that to state that he doesn't care about me enough, or that he's just adding me in wherever he can fit me in? Do you think that's going to allow some connection to happen? Especially if your husband knows that this is what you're doing. It's like, okay, your experiences are going to be different, even if you're in the same place. It's going to be different. Even if you went to the same show, even if you went to the same restaurant. I stated that in the book where I said there may be people say, well, he shouldn't do this. It's only so many places that you can go. Every experience is going to be different because of the experience you create, not because of the place, but the experience. So being able to focus on that is important. So it doesn't matter about being this new thing, or having this clean slate, or even being established and being the one that, has so much time invested. It's the experiences. All right. So let's get into secret number 3. How you can connect and be desirable, even if you are an emotional wreck, and even if you have caused discord before. That's what I was talking about before. Sometimes we can get a little psycho, a little crazy, and cause issues, say things that we shouldn't have said, did things we shouldn't have done. Am I going to say it's easy to repair the bridge that you may have destroyed and trampled over and burned and smashed with a hammer? No, I'm not. However, can you come back from that? Yes, it's possible. It's definitely possible. And it's possible that you can be desirable after that. I didn't say while still doing that. I said after that. Okay. Now, will it take time? Probably. Because not only do we as women say, oh, well, we need the trust built back up, husbands need that trust built back up too. So if you destroyed some things, if you said some things in emotion, in a crazy emotional state, you can have a really good husband that says, you know what, okay, she's going through some hormonal things, some different changes, and can kind of let that slide. Coach Nyla is pretty good at some of the things, doing that sometimes, but it's not okay. I want to say that. You know what I'm saying? It's not okay because, what I'm saying is not okay to just let it slide. And I don't want to say that he really just lets it slide, because he'll still call it out. But the thing is that when you allow those things to happen continuously, people can utilize it and start to be manipulative and use it as a manipulation tactic. So you want to be careful with that and be mindful, even if your husband is allowing things to slide, so to speak. So, or he's understanding enough to say, you know what, okay, it's a hormonal time. I'm going to give you a pass right now, but watch it. Usually that is like cue to, because some people won't take that as a cue. Oh, you don't tell me what to do. It's not just about emotions. I feel like this right now. It's not about, hormones, that stuff. Do you think that will allow you to be desirable and connect with your husband? No, if he understands that you may have said something out of a hormonal imbalance, or that you were an emotional wreck, maybe there was a death in the family that was really close to you, or you're dealing with, some heavy issues, and he's understanding with that, understand that he's giving that grace. And this is how, when you're an emotional wreck like that, how you can get this connection. I understand that you are really working with me during this time. This is rough, or I'm having a rough day, I'm having a rough week. And even though I've been a little crazy, even by you giving me space. Even though I want you to be around or something like that, maybe you giving me space is so you don't say anything that you will regret, or that's going to hurt me, that's going to really hurt me, and it's going to cause issues in our marriage. I understand that, and I appreciate that. Thank you. Emotional wreck. Emotional wreck. However, you're able to acknowledge the grace that he's giving you. And you are also acknowledging that you're going through some things. This is another way when you're going through some things, being able to let that be known. Let that be known. I've done that on a number of occasions. I'm like, I'm having a rough day. I'm having a rough day, or I'm having a rough moment, or I'm not 100% myself. I'm emotional right now. Just being transparent, that goes into that courageous communication that we talked about earlier, and being confident enough to be able to say, yep, this is one of those days. This is one of those times. So now, not only have I let it be known that this is what's going on with me, now I have to work on me to make sure that I'm not allowing this to infect my marriage or infect those around me. There are times when I may need to take a nap. I may need to write in my journal. I may need to do something that, whether it's meditation, whether it's baking something with my daughter, whatever allows me to get into a state of peace, and not put that on him, that he has to be the one to fix me, that he has to be the one to fix it and make me happy. And he has to understand that this is just the way I am. I said, this is how you can connect and be desirable, by understanding what undesirable traits you possess, and replace them with the desirable ones. If you've had discord before, if you said some things, being able to apologize and work on not doing that again. And also understanding that it may take time. And think about it both ways. If he's done something to you, or you felt he's done something to you that caused some issues, that may have broken some trust barriers and things as far as that, would you want him to rush you with the time that it takes for you to build that back up? We really have to look at that. I told my children about that. I said, one of the things, like rule of thumb, if you do something to someone that you don't want done to you, then that's messed up. It's messed up. Even if they don't have an issue with it, you don't know that. But by default, you have an issue with it. So if you have an issue with it, why would you do it to someone else that you love? Why would you do it to someone else that you love? Sometimes people say, well, he made me mad, or he hurt me, so I'm going to hurt him just as hard, or I'm going to do it, harder, or whatever. That does not cause a person to want to be connected with you. If you want to destroy your marriage, by all means, go ahead and do it that way. But if you want to connect, even if you caused discord, even if he possibly did, it's about that grace period. It's about giving grace and having that communication. Like, this is what happened, and I'm still feeling this. This is still bothering me. I'm not moving forward. I thought I would be able to. I don't know. This is a webinar, so I don't know everybody's situation or if anybody's even going through that. So if you are, or if you have, if you have, put that in the comments, that I understand. Put it in the comments. Because when it all comes down to it, there are going to be some ups and downs. There are going to be some highs and lows. There are going to be some downs. There are going to be some lows. But how do we navigate it so we're not destroying our marriage, so we're not trashing that bridge, so we're not breaking that china that we have to glue back together that's never the same again? So the knee-jerk reaction to want to hurt someone because you're hurt, there's a saying that says hurting people hurt people. There's a saying that says that. But don't think that you're hurting that person is going to make you feel better, especially if it's someone that you love. Because when the smoke clears and the dust settles, are you going to be in a place where you could come back from that? Okay, so that's how you can connect and be desirable, even if you're an emotional wreck, even if you have done discord before, or have caused some discord before. Being able to give grace, give that time, be able to communicate and give space, but also continue the communication. Because as I stated before, when you don't say anything and you allow those walls to build up, those walls cause that disconnect between you two. And it's hard to tear them down. It's hard to break them down. You have to do the extra work now, not just the work to stay together. Now you got to do the work to break down the walls, to break down those barriers, and then do the work to come together. Now it's up to you how hard you want to work or how much work you want to do. Do you want to do the work after destroying some things and you have to build it back up? Or do you want to do the work that it takes just to maintain it? Maintaining work is not as daunting and time consuming and not as daunting and not as heavy as the work it takes to rebuild something. Okay? So I went through the 3 things. I'm going to recap. So I went through the where it's not about being or how to have self-confidence to build your connection, to increase your communication with your husband. Also, how not being the new and shiny thing and being the established, the established foundation maker, so to speak. That doesn't matter when it comes to connecting and not focusing on that and not focusing on how that should play into your marriage, but focusing more on the memories and the moments that you create. And then of course we just went through the how to come back from the house, still be desirable after discord and being an emotional wreck. So now my question for you guys, let me know. These things can be done. Now, do you want to do these things, do it yourself? Learn how to just do it yourself, hey, it's possible. I've done it. We didn't have the tools with over 13 years ago. Gosh, almost 14 years ago. We didn't have that. The stuff that you guys have now, the OPR, the Outstanding Personal Relationships, the Let's Talk Polygamy Uncensored book, the coaching, the trainings. We didn't have that, especially not for polygyny. Oh no! Please let me know where you can find that other than OPR. And if you looked back then, we definitely didn't have it, not 13 years ago. So doing it ourselves was the only option that we had. Being able to figure it out, try stuff, do this, trial and error, mess up this way, learn this way. This works, so we're going to keep it. This doesn't work, throw it away. Or do you want to have help? So let me know. 1, if you want to do it yourself. Put in the comments, 1, if you want to do it yourself, or 2, if you want to have help in being more desirable and being able to tackle and master the secrets that I just gave you in this webinar. So let me know in the comments. Let me know one or two. If you're a one or two, you want to do it yourself or you want to have help. I'm going to look at some of these questions. Okay, so I'm going to go into Q&A. Two, of course, two. I'm going to go into Q&A in a minute. So two, mashallah, two. For those who are stating number two, I have an amazing, I'm not going to really call it a gift, but an amazing program. What I'm doing right now, before the end of this year, oh my gosh, it's about to be the end of the year, before the end of 2024. I'm sorry, 2023. I'm already jumping us to 2024. The end of 2023, well, that's today and tomorrow, right? I am offering an hour of coaching with me. An hour of coaching with me before the price goes up next year. Like if you sign up today, before the end of this webinar, I'm gonna take some Q&A. You're gonna lock in your price. You're gonna lock in the price of what it is right now, which is $597. And you guys can go on the link, coachnyla.com. And if you guys are watching it on the private stream at learnwithcoachnyla.com, you'll see the button. So click the button and you'll get that. So that's what I'm offering to you guys, because I will walk you through this. I will go through what it takes to have the confidence to be able to have this communication, to communicate properly. I'm not saying that you're not going to be upset. I'm not going to say there are not going to be times where you're having these ups and downs or these lows, because we don't have our highs and we're going to celebrate these highs. I'll teach you how to do that too, because a lot of times that's an issue. We're not celebrating these highs. We're stuck at always working to get better, which is fine. It's fine to work to get better. It's fine to work on yourself. The one thing is, though, is that you have to take the time out to celebrate the wins. You have to take the time out to celebrate yourself. You have to take that time to celebrate your marriage. When you're doing the work and just working, I'm going to tell you something just real quick before I close out and before I take some Q&A. So if you guys have questions, definitely put it in the chat, because I want to give you some time to go to the website and register and lock in your coaching call. There's one-on-one coaching with me. So I want you to lock that in. Also, I do go into my 12 session program on that call as well. But that's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. You know, I value I value the time that I have. I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a coach, but I do value the time, because when it all comes down to it, I need to know that those who I'm coaching, those who I'm on the phone with, those who I'm spending that one-on-one time with, are looking to do the work. They're looking to be better. They're looking to grow. My coaching is called Gratification Through Growth, and it's GROWTH. It's an acronym, or an acrostic, if you will. And that means guidance, resilience, opportunity, wisdom, transformation, and harmony. In order to grow properly, you have to master those things. Being able to gain the guidance so you can actually be guidance to others, to be able to have the resilience, not just the resilience to just take on the challenges, but being able to see what they are, to have that wisdom. And I'll get into that, but to see the opportunities in front of you, the opportunity to grow, the opportunity to learn, taking these things as learning processes, and to have that wisdom to understand what they are and to learn more so you can transform, so you can have the transformation and the harmony in your marriage. I go into that, ask my clients, what does gratification through growth mean to them? To be able to feel good about that, to be able to celebrate the growth that they have, that they accomplished. The transformations is beautiful. It's amazing. I love what I do. But that's what I said. It's not for everybody. But if you're a 2, definitely click that button, click the link. Let me help you. However, you have to make sure that you are worthy of it. And why I say worthy of it, what do I mean by that? That means that you want it. You have that burning desire. You have the willingness to work, and you are teachable and coachable, because it's really not easy to spend time dragging people who don't want to come or who want to fight you and buck at you when you're trying to teach them something. I like to stretch my clients, and they come out better every time. But that's because they wanted to, not because I made them do it. All right. So let's go into Q&A. You guys have any questions? I'm going to look through here. You have to love yourself in order. Yes. Alhamdulillah. All righty. Okay. Well, I'm assuming that I covered so much on here that you guys have gotten so much amazing, valuable information. You have no questions for me or no other questions because I went through certain things. So yes, I'm glad. So I look forward to seeing you guys. I look forward to seeing you guys in the on the coaching call. Those who have, okay, good. Okay, those who have signed up. I'm actually only going to take 10 new people. That's it. I forgot to say that. So not only the ones that are willing to work and willing to do things, I'm shutting it down at 10. As I stated before, this is one-on-one. This is not the group coaching or anything like that. This is one-on-one. So this is time that I'm taking to really help and build and work with you. So, all right. That being said, I look forward to seeing you again. Prayerfully, you guys have some amazing information and you learn some really great things, and you're taking these 3 secrets and you're going to run with it and build your marriage and be a desirable wife. And until next time, make sure you are growing intentionally, loving fearlessly, and connecting on a higher level every single day. It's your Coach Nyla. I look forward to seeing you soon. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.